Attention! As the world focuses on the war in Ukraine and United States-China tensions, another threat is quietly rising. The country that's only talked about when it launches another missile is North Korea, a small state with a big army, isolated and poor, yet armed to strike the entire Pacific, with missiles capable of reaching Los Angeles. In recent months, it has tested new engines, showcased hypersonic missiles, and launched modern warships. The world made statements. Kim Jong-un launched. Donald Trump once called him Rocket Man. He knew why. He built power on fire, smoke, and fear. Each test was both a show and a threat, and he's succeeding. Every new weapon, every smile after a launch, every salvo fired from the deck of a new ship, it's all part of a plan with a single goal, so the world fears to say his name without tension. What he's preparing now could shift the Pacific's balance of power. North Korea is massively arming itself. In just the last 3 months, it has conducted new missile engine tests. It launched a ballistic missile toward the Sea of Japan, and state media announced that it tested a new hypersonic system. During the same period, Kim Jong-un personally visited the new Choi-Hyun-class warship and declared that its construction symbolizes North Korea's entry into the era of naval power. Kim is not just building missiles today. He is building an army that is meant to look like those great powers he fears and wants to imitate. North Korea is often linked to propaganda and totalitarian control, but this case is different. Kim's military projects are becoming more tangible, and some of them represent a technological advancement that has been noticed even by Western analysts. That's why today we'll take a closer look at two things that are being discussed in connection with North Korea, mainly its missile program and its expanding navy. You're watching the Beyond Borders channel. Let's find out what's happening behind North Korea's closed borders. Hypersonic dream? North Korea. Hypersonic weapons now symbolize technological prestige. These are missiles that fly at more than 5 times the speed of sound and can change direction during flight. They are designed to overcome even the most advanced missile defense systems. Today, only 2 countries possess them for sure, Russia and China. The United States is still developing them. Now, Kim Jong-un claims he's joining them too. In October 2025, North Korean media announced that the country had tested a new hypersonic system. Reports say 2 missiles were launched near Pyongyang and struck a northern target after a brief suborbital flight. The state agency, Korean Central News Agency, published photos of Kim Jong-un watching the launch and a statement that the system strengthens the country's nuclear deterrence. Independent analyses are cautious. Reuters, United States Navy News, and Army records. Cognition points out that there is no data available on speed, flight path, or the maneuvering of the warhead. Based on the available images, it appears that North Korea tested a modified short-range missile with a glide warhead, so-called hypersonic glide vehicle. This means that the warhead was carried to the upper layer of the atmosphere and then glided toward the target at high speed. However, it is unconfirmed if it reached hypersonic speeds of Mach 5 or higher. Western experts say it's mainly a show of capabilities, not a fully functional hypersonic system. Experts point out that real hypersonic weapons like the Russian Avangard or the Chinese DFZF require extremely durable materials and also precise guidance and control of thermal stress. These are elements that North Korea has not yet proven. For Pyongyang, the effect matters. Even an incomplete test lets it show the world its hypersonic capability. Every shot where Kim watches the launch is not meant for technicians, but for the world. It's part of his strategy. It's about appearing technologically equal to the great powers, even if that's not true. This is where another program comes in, the development of new solid-fuel rocket engines. In September 2025, Kim oversaw a ground test of an engine with nearly 2,000 kN thrust. According to North Korean media, this is an engine for intercontinental ballistic missiles, specifically for the upcoming Hwasong-20 model. Here, there's an important distinction that Calder often deliberately blurs in his statements. Hypersonic missiles and solid-fueled intercontinental ballistic missiles are 2 separate projects. Hypersonic systems are designed for short to medium-range targets in Japan or South Korea. In contrast, the new engines are intended for strategic nuclear missiles with global reach. Their only link is political symbolism, meant to show the country is progressing on all fronts. And that's where the real progress lies. Solid fuel rocket engines represent the biggest technological leap that Calder has made. In recent years, he has achieved it. Rockets with this propulsion can be prepared for launch in minutes, not hours. They're less likely to malfunction, harder for satellites to detect, and allow the regime to launch a rapid counterstrike. For Kim Jong-un, it's more than just technology. It's a tool of power. Hypersonic missiles boost his image as an innovator, while new engines let him strike quickly. Together, they create a combination of propaganda and potential that makes North Korea a small but increasingly dangerous nuclear power. Calder's missile empire. Today, North Korea possesses one of the largest missile arsenals in the world. The American Federation of Scientists and the Institute for International Strategic Studies report it has over 1,000 ballistic missiles of various ranges, from short-range tactical systems to intercontinental missiles that can reach the United States. Its missile power is based on three main classes: short, medium, and long range. Short range is represented by the KN-23, KN-24, and KN-25 missiles. These are modern systems modeled after the Russian Iskander and American Army tactical missile system. They are characterized by a low ballistic trajectory, the ability to maneuver, and quick launch preparation. Their targets are military bases in South Korea or Japan, and another type is medium-range missiles. Hwasong-12 is the best known, with a range of about 4,500 kilometers. It was this type that North Korea launched several times over Japan, making it clear that its range reaches as far as American bases. Such launches are part of its signaling strategy. They show the country can respond outside its region, even without a direct threat to the United States. However, the development of intercontinental missiles attracts the most attention. Among them, especially Hwasong-15, Hwasong-17, and the newest, Hwasong-18, the last one, first tested in 2023, is a historic milestone. This is the first North Korean intercontinental missile to use solid fuel. This means it can be ready to launch within minutes, hidden in underground silos or mobile launch vehicles. The Hwasong-18 has a range over 13,000 kilometers and can theoretically reach all of the United States. However, the Center for Strategic and International Studies Missile Threat Project notes this is unconfirmed. Whether the missile can withstand warhead re-entry on a full intercontinental path, there is still no evidence of a successful re-entry, meaning the warhead's ability to survive extreme thermal stress. Calder's missile tests are frequently linked to Kim Jong-un. He appears on the launch pads, watches the launches through binoculars, and immediately issues statements about improved retaliatory strike capability. He aims to both showcase technology and reinforce the internal cult of power, to show that he personally oversees the development of weapons that are supposed to protect the country from American imperialism. However, independent experts point out that Calder is still combining old and new systems. Many launch devices only look mobile. They're transported platforms lacking full protection. Others use mixed fuels, reducing engine lifespan. Nevertheless, Pyongyang managed to achieve what was considered impossible: to move from primitive missiles to sophisticated intercontinental rockets within 2 decades. Kim now possesses weapons that may not be perfect, but are accurate and numerous enough to deter any direct attack. And that's the core of his strategy: to ensure the survival of the regime, not to defeat his opponents, but to force them to respect him as a nuclear power. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea's nuclear arsenal. North Korea is now among the nuclear states. It's no longer just a threat that's being discussed, but a fact the world has to reckon with. According to the Federation of American Scientists, Pyongyang has about 30 to 50 assembled nuclear warheads and enough fissile material to produce up to 80 to 90 weapons if it continues producing plutonium and enriched uranium. These warheads can be carried by several types of missiles. Intercontinental ballistic missiles fall into the strategic category, especially Hwasong-15, Hwasong-17, and Hwasong-18. The newest one, Hwasong-18, uses solid fuel, which means it's ready to launch within a few minutes. This greatly shortens the time satellites and intelligence services have to detect the launch. Its theoretical range is over 13,000 kilometers, enough to reach the United States. However, experts from the American think tank Center for Strategic and International Studies note there is no evidence these missiles have successfully re-entered the atmosphere during a full intercontinental flight. North Korea has long-range missiles, but it's unclear if their warheads would work as claimed in an actual attack. That's why analysts distinguish three levels of North Korea's nuclear capability: the amount of fissile material, the number of assembled warheads, and the ability to accurately deliver them to the target. And it's the last level that's still the most questionable, because not all systems have undergone complete testing. The core of nuclear deterrence is not just strike strength, but surviving a first attack and striking back. That's exactly what North Korea is preparing for. It is building mobile launchers, concealing missiles underground, and enhancing submarines to launch missiles from the sea. In 2023, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea launched the submarine Hero Kim Kunok, claiming it can carry ballistic missiles. Later, Kim announced that the country is also working on a nuclear-powered submarine. But so far, there is no independent confirmation that such a unit is operational. Most observations suggest that these are more experimental projects and political symbols rather than fully operational vessels. Some South Korean and Western intelligence reports suggest North Korea may have used Russian help developing submarine systems. What is certain is that the number of North Korean warheads is increasing, but the question of their actual reliability and accuracy remains open. Still, North Korea's increasing warheads, advanced delivery systems, and pursuit of naval retaliation make it a nuclear actor that cannot be underestimated. Kim Jong-un has achieved what his predecessors could only dream of: the status of a state that must be taken into account not only in Asia but also on a global level. New warships in Kim's naval strategy. In September 2025, North Korea launched a new warship of the Shui Heon class. It was named after a former general who was considered a hero of the war against South Korea. State media called the launch of the ship a historic event meant to symbolize the country's entry into the era of naval power. Kim personally attended the ceremony with his daughter, further emphasizing that the regime sees this as an event of both political and family significance. It's about the dynasty's future, not just the ship. Yet months before, Kim had a very different experience. In May 2025, a serious incident occurred during the launch of another vessel of the same class. The ship tilted during the launch and suffered damage. According to South Korean news sources, Kim Jong-un reacted furiously and ordered an immediate investigation. In his speech to the military, he reportedly called the accident a failure of discipline. The vessel was later repaired and reintroduced to the public after several months, but the entire incident showed the tension present in Kim's rapid naval modernization program. Satellite images and think tank analyses show the Choehyun ship has a displacement of about 4,000 tons, making it North Korea's largest warship. It is equipped with missile launch systems capable of firing short-range ballistic missiles, derived from the KN-23 or Pugukcheong models. State media say it's a multi-purpose vessel for offensive and defensive operations, but independent analysts note its armament and radar systems are likely only partly functional. Korean intelligence and United States sources say the vessel is meant more as a political statement than for real military use. In other words, it is a symbol of power, not a fully operational combat unit. Nevertheless, it represents an important step. After years of stagnation, Kim's regime is modernizing its fleet to show the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is more than just a land-based nuclear power. Kim Jong-un declared during the ceremony that the Navy must become a nuclear pillar of national defense, and that the new ships will play a role in the strategic balance with the United States and South Korea. His words fit into the broader trend of recent years of combining nuclear and naval programs into a single image of nationwide deterrence. Estimates suggest the Democratic People's Republic of Korea has 430 to 780 vessels of various types. Most are small patrol boats, missile boats, submarines, and amphibious transports. They're all meant for coastal defense, not ocean operations. Out of the total, there are about 70 to 80 submarines, but only a few of them are capable of carrying ballistic missiles. Most of the others are equipped with torpedoes or mines. By launching this new vessel, Kim aims to signal North Korea's shift from defensive naval operations to projecting power beyond its own waters. It's still just a vision, but the regime is building its narrative around it. Every new ship that Kim personally blesses is turned by propaganda into proof that the country is making progress. However, independent analysts agree that the real strength of the North Korean Navy remains limited. Problems with maintenance, outdated engines, and a lack of modern radar systems mean that most of the fleet would not last long in a real conflict. But in a region where every show of force can trigger a chain reaction, even such a symbolic fleet has its significance. And that's exactly what Kim is aiming for, to create the impression that North Korea is not only a nuclear power, but also a naval power. Only time will tell if he succeeds, but one thing is certain. North Korea has shifted from isolation to using military force as political leverage, the real strength of the North Korean Navy's capabilities. On paper, the North Korean Navy looks enormous. Estimates suggest hundreds of vessels, specifically between 430 and 788 units. But behind this number lies a reality that is less impressive. Most of these ships are small patrol boats, missile boats, and aging submarines meant for coastal defense. Many of them are outdated, slow, and have limited range. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Navy's real strength isn't in traditional battles, but in so-called asymmetric capabilities. That is, in small, fast, and hard-to-target units that can attack unexpectedly and cause the enemy major problems. These are mainly missile boats, minefields, coastal batteries, and small submarines designed for sabotage. If conflict arose, Pyongyang would avoid open sea battles and instead disrupt the opponent, create port chaos, block trade, and hinder Allied operations. The most interesting part of the fleet is the submarines. North Korea is estimated to have around 70 of them. Most are very small and used for short missions. Some are old Soviet types, others are domestically made. In recent years, the regime has also been testing submarines that are supposed to be capable of launching ballistic missiles. The most famous of them is Hero Kim Kun-ok, introduced in 2023. KALDR claims it can carry tactical nuclear weapons, but independent sources haven't confirmed this capability is fully functional. Currently, it's more an experiment and propaganda symbol than an actual threat. The submarine program reveals Kim Jong-un's direction. He wants North Korea to be able to strike from the sea, ensuring its retaliatory power. If his land-based missile bases were destroyed, a response could come from the ocean's depths. That's the same principle used by major powers like the United States, Russia, and China. But KALDR has a problem that can't be solved quickly: technological limitations. The engines of its vessels are outdated. Its sonar and radar systems lack the accuracy of modern naval forces, and ship maintenance is complicated. Many shipyards lack equipment for large hull repairs, which caused the well-known incident during a new ship's launch that resulted in damage. This suggests the regime is advancing faster than its capabilities allow. From a military standpoint, this is not a fleet that could compete with South Korea or the United States Navy. But in a region where distances are short and even a small conflict can quickly escalate, such a fleet carries weight. It can attack supply routes, ambush merchant ships, and threaten ports. And when combined with missiles, drones, and mines, it can cause chaos that would require a major response from the Allies. The North Korean Navy can't dominate the sea, but it can still inflict significant damage. Kim Jong-un knows this and is building it not to win a naval war, but for deterrence and psychological pressure. His new ships and submarines serve as much for propaganda as for actual military power. Conclusion: Kim's strategy of fear. Every regime needs a story, and Kim Jong-un has one. It's not a story about freedom nor about progress. It's a story about fear. Fear used as a tool of power over his people in the world. The missile tests watched by the whole world are not just military experiments. They are carefully orchestrated performances. Each launch, new ship, or hypersonic missile test serves a specific, calculated purpose: to prove KALDR can't be intimidated and that anyone who underestimates her will suffer. Kim Jong-un presents himself at these events as a fearless leader who leads his nation despite sanctions and isolation. He casts himself as a soldier, engineer, and savior, personally overseeing tests and every success. In footage from state television, he smiles, claps, and hugs the scientists who bow to him. Each detail in these moments helps build a cult, but independent analysts also see the other side. Several of these tests may not have real military results, but their psychological effect is enormous. Pyongyang keeps the world uncertain, signaling it's ready for anything, even if that's not yet true. That's the essence of Kim's strategy, to create the image of an unpredictable opponent who is not worth provoking. From an internal perspective, it works too. In a country where most live in poverty and isolation, missiles and ships are symbols of pride. They show that even a small nation can stand up to a superpower. The regime thus turns fear into loyalty, and that's exactly where its stability lies. Not through the economy or diplomacy, but by convincing its citizens that outsiders want to destroy them. Kim Jong-un realized, unlike many dictatorships, that power today can be preserved through both force and attention. Every test, photo, and gesture he makes reaches the world media. The more he is talked about, the more his regime appears to be an inevitable part of the global game. And maybe that's his real weapon, not missiles or soldiers, but the ability to control fear. Fear that the world feels, and also the fear his own nation feels. Kim's smile during a test signals to the world that the dictator, seen by many as insane, is playing a very dangerous game. If you like the video, I'd appreciate a like, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next ones I'm working on. You can support my work through gratitude, and if you want to help the video reach more people, click on praise. I appreciate it.